Hi, this is DEDMan. If you're watching this video, I assume you're old enough to see gore, violence, swearing, and general adult content. If you aren't old enough, come back with some ID. Or a fake one. Echo has one of the most unique main menus I've ever seen. It's just N's eye, but you can control it to start your game, and pupil also dilates. It's super weird and I love it. Some foreshadowing in the form of a quote from the in-game book.
All our songs were about it. A magical place of life without end. A palace of untold wonders.
I love the reveal of the rocky surface just being how N's ship looks. Also, Endless Life Cycle is a little cheeky since there's an endless amount of echoes.
So our lives were desperately dedicated to qualify. Pinpoint perspective on the great reward. Only, I never wanted to go.
So there's a lot of the story that's vague and understated, but N grew up in a cult of sorts, but was always a bit of a rebel, and this line describes that perfectly.
I feel like shit.
The first actual words that N says perfectly prepares us for the type of person she is. Brash and says exactly what's on her mind.
Of course you do. Your wound has healed. The pain is from the stasis and will pass within a week. The nausea will linger, probably intensify when you start to realize that more than 100 years have passed. Everything you knew is gone.
I'm getting a very alien feeling from this opening, and I dig it.
This is not another one of your running away from home excursions. Your grandfather won't send someone to pick you up this time.
N's face tightening as soon as Lyndon says grandfather is great visual storytelling and immediately lets you know there's definitely something going on there.
So you decided not to like me. But you've had a century to plan what to say, and that's it? How about you screwed up the best deal we ever had, or you come waltzing in here giving orders, or even Foster died because of you, you stupid bitch. I don't like me much either.
Anne is seriously hard on herself since she feels blame for Foster dying trying to help her escape from the Resourcefuls. At least while you're in the ship, it shows diegetic markers to show you where to go. Since their last names are showing up at the credits, I'll just say, for only having 2 voice actors, Rose Leslie and Nick Bolton, they do an amazing job at carrying the entire game. Especially with their back and forth bickering about who has it worse, which I just learned can be called misery poker.
I need a suit.
It's not by much, but a delayed title card is a delayed title card. The music is also fantastic. It's very ethereal and futuristic, and I just love it so much.
I don't know that we can even trust what we see. This whole planet eluded detection until about a week ago. No visual cues, no gravitational pull, nothing. Even with the exact coordinates, I nearly missed it.
Lost a planet, Master Obi-Wan has. How embarrassing.
Just looking at the scale of the planet is mind-boggling. I mean, think about it. The entire planet is the palace. It's no wonder it's so easy to get lost in there. I gotta say, I really like the design of N's suit, as asymmetrical is the best, and her helmet is even perfectly formed to her head.
It's not very safe if she gets hit in the head, though.
True, but from a design standpoint, it's hella cool.
I'm enabling the suit's assist mode to compensate for your inexperience.
Even if London is being snarky about it, I love to see a diegetic HUD.
Look, there's an opening down there. It's too far to jump though.
The suit will soften your landing if charged sufficiently.
And if not?
It will stop you from leaping.
Having a power suit is awesome, and it prevents you from falling off ledges.
The suit reads your intentions from your synaptic activity and receives commands from your voice or eye movements. A bit archaic, but Foster trusted that suit with his life.
I always find it funny when clearly advanced technology for us is outdated in their respective universe. The pop-up tutorials are great for explaining the finer functions of the game.
Honestly, the one huge turnoff for me is it takes a long time for the game to actually get going. It's about an hour before you're truly in the action. For such a short game, it feels like they could have expedited things a bit.
How do I turn down the volume on the commentary track?
You are overconfident. Immature people often are. You should be taking notes every time I open my mouth.
We just need to power her up. Tell her that we're here. I can feel this is going to work out just fine.
Oh, N. Pretty sure you just jinxed yourself.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
N's helmet being transparent inside makes me think the entire helmet is like a transition lens.
Look at that. It's a voice.
It looks like a tuning fork.
Yes, obviously. The resourcefuls call them voices. Strike them and let the true tone interfere to find clarity and enlightenment.
Ah, of course.
It's also a nice musical collectible that has a hidden message.
This is meaningless. Foster is dead. Some things just cannot be undone. Think about it. If you could capture the souls of the dead in a cube, and then bring the person back to life, surely it would be a huge industry.
London's being a bit pessimistic, but he's right. The absolute law of everything is capitalism will find a way to make money off of it.
Just out of curiosity, what's the higher meaning of keeping scepters displayed inside huge rings made of gold? It does seem a bit much, even if you are filthy rich.
The rings were not for show. They are part of our training.
Oh, and you do what exactly? Step inside and feel wealthy?
Not quite. The rings spin up, and the challenge is to get out in one piece. At first, staying in there is the only sane thing to do. But as the hunger comes, the rhythm of the spinning starts to sink in. At some point, you realize that starving eats away at your chance of making it out. Then the leap. No, wait too long.
Wow, that's really brutal. But I guess if you can just make more resourcefuls, it's not really a concern?
Now, let's see.
Nothing. What a shock.
What Gramps did to hundreds of resourcefuls for this? I saw it the day I came to you. The subject lies down on a marble surface with a strange silver pattern. And the silver unfolds, pierces the skin, and slithers inside. In about half an hour, it consumes everything. And all that remains is an empty slab of marble and a newly formed cube.
No.
He called it the translation.
That's both brutal and metal at the same time.
I'm getting some local increases in energy emission.
Know what it is?
Can't tell. It's not radiation. One of them is close to your location. I'll pin it to your HUD.
Having markers show up is helpful since there's no way you'd be able to find your way in this planet-wide maze otherwise.
It looks exactly like the thing that made the cube.
Looks like her grandfather wasn't as full of it as she thought.
Something's not right. I'm picking up a whole load of anomalies.
Oh boy, that can't be good.
All right, who's not dead? Sound off.
Not that way, evidently.
I actually like how the doors give you a visual cue that you can't pass through them rather than a failed prompt or just a noise.
Look at that. Did you see that? It charged my suit.
I don't know what sort of holographic phenomenon that was, but it was extremely compatible with the dual retention system of your suit.
You can find little boosts to your suit that will fill up your charge gauge, and trust me, you're gonna need them.
This is bad, N. The palace system's shut down, but it's still charging. The jewel mass is nearing the Dirac child limit.
That felt horrible. I couldn't move.
Yeah, the power dropping out and starting back up is amazing sound design for how creepy it is. Like, seriously, it freaked me out the first time, and it still does on occasion.
What the? Flowers? They weren't here before the blackout, right?
No, they were not.
This entire part where the palace is adding more things to itself feels like this.
Welcome to Thunderdome, bitch.
What's that?
Kinda looks like the slug you turn into at the end of Bloodborne. Oh wait, this palace of repeating clones of yourself does feel Lovecraftian now that I think about it.
What the? This one moves.
Worse, it's alive. The sphere appears when humans or animals are detected in close proximity, but this...
Yeah, this is going from 0 to what the fuck very quickly.
What does that mean? I get color now.
The suit senses a threat. Yellow means that you might be noticed. Red means you're targeted.
I do love diegetic ways of giving you a tutorial.
What is this?
That's you, N.
But why would it build copies of me?
To make your pants as brown as absolutely possible. Holy shit! No, 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 no! That is easily in my top 5 for worst nightmare fuel ever. Seriously, Echo, thank you. I was worried that I was gonna have to sleep at some point.
I'm bringing the gun online. Each shot will kill as many as you can line up.
I'm really glad I have some way to fight back.
I feel like I need to point out here that the game was not optimized properly. In certain sections, the screen freezes up while the audio continues. This doesn't affect you in combat from what I've seen, but it's there regardless.
Holy crap, does this gun punch?
They're getting up.
And if that's not the most terrifying realization, I don't know what is. Seriously, the first time the power cycles and you realize they are still alive is, well, terrifying. You aren't going to be able to talk or shoot your way out of these situations. You have to actively be smart about your placement, as your shots are very limited as well. I'm also very much a fan of how the doors open. It's very stylistic.
I can't see anything.
Use your area scan.
Area scan is incredibly useful for locating your various clones, but it does have a downside of taking away your sphere to keep things balanced.
Hey!
Also, when you get frustrated, you can just shout.
It's there for distractions, you dope.
They're getting faster after each blackout. If they swarm you, use the gun's riot function. It's not lethal like the main driver, but it will knock down everyone in close proximity.
Handy.
Occasionally, the audio just cuts out and starts the track over instead of looping it properly.
What's that? It's creating weird imprints of me.
We are currently in the super mega ultra deluxe levels of brown pants. That little silhouette will teach the echoes everything, so whatever you do, they learn for one cycle. I love how it adds an extra layer of gameplay with having to choose what to teach them in any given cycle, given they will use it against you.
The matter is strengthening your suit's ability to retain energy from your surroundings.
You can pick up suit upgrades so you can do more actions before running out.
They're not crossing the water.
Considering this level opens up to a bunch of echoes, that's a good thing. I love that you even have to teach them to walk through water.
They're getting more capable after every blackout.
I think there's more to it. I have a weird feeling that the palace is registering my moves with those icy holographs, then using the information to improve the abilities of those things.
In case it still hasn't sunk in by this point, Anne and London outright confirm everything. I seriously love that you can teach them useless things like eating grapes or playing the piano. You know, non-murdery skills.
They echo your behavior.
Yes, echoes.
Nice.
What's that strange archway?
It's a suspended Y field. Never seen a vertical one before.
It looks like you're supposed to pass through. What does it do?
Shouldn't do anything. It's self-contained.
That is actually your save point, and I love that it doesn't bother with the menu, it just saves.
We've seen nothing here that proves Foster can come back. On the contrary, the echoes aren't you, N. Just like recreating Foster will not be Foster. He's dead.
It's definitely a risk, but at this point, N has no other choice than to continue attempting to bring Foster back.
But he's not. That's what I keep saying. He didn't die. He was translated.
To you, it's so fresh in memory your adrenaline is pumping. But in reality, he died more than a century ago. And you hope to bring him back. It's just crazy.
No crazier than a planet-wide palace with clones trying to kill me.
That is just ridiculous. The manifold is a theoretical shortcut. Not even during the push was it pursued to that end.
One of the few bad things about this game is there's so many references to other things that you never end up seeing.
The echoes were probably entertainment to them, seeing the lower castes fighting to survive. The creators expected to be gods here and designed everything to constantly remind them that they were.
Add that tidbit to the very extravagant design of the palace, and yeah, it totally sounds like the rich elite built the palace.
There's an opening.
And don't go through that hole. The palace reacts in a split second. You won't make it.
I can make it.
And did what we called a hold my beer moment. It does not end well. Those fuckers stole my cube! Can't have shit in Space Detroit.
Clever detachment, always the upper hand.
I love that London is so pissed he's ranting even while N is unconscious.
You're so sure of yourself, N. You've seen but a glimpse of time, and yet consider yourself the answer to the eternal questions of life and death.
Well, N is roughly 20 or so. 20-somethings always have the answers.
At least I'm not using my non-existing potential wishing fairy tales were true.
Did you consider that you don't have faith because you're simply too dumb?
Burn!
You sit alone in space in that obsolete monstrosity of a ship, waiting decades to spend a few hours with your human friend.
And you killed him, you stupid bitch! And now you lost our chances of bringing him back. How clever is that?
Wow, until this point, you don't realize that the reason Lennon is snippy with N is because he lost his only friend.
The suit's not charging.
That is a horrible downside to losing the Foster Cube. What is truly creepy is the echoes are only after the cube, so when you lose it, they just stand there. Not sure if that's better or worse than actually being chased down by them. Normally, teaching the echoes new things is bad, but here, it's super handy.
Did you see that? They're fighting each other to get the cube.
That's a pretty sweet-ass cube. I can't say I blame them.
Look. It's dead.
They're killing each other again.
But why? I have the cube.
And don't question a good thing.
Did you see that?
It's huge.
And it's doing things I didn't teach it.
Never mind! Abort! Abort! Seriously though, those golden bastards do whatever they want with no regard to what we've been learning about the entire game. They are a collection of knowledge from every cycle and are seriously unpredictable.
This is it, N. We're here.
You're breaking up.
I'm hearing you fine, but the sphere is messing with your reception. If I cut out entirely, I'd better say this now. Good luck, N. And be careful.
As much as they fought and been grouchy with each other, it's sweet there's some reconciliation.
It must be making it from Foster's memories, to ease his return.
That's literally the nicest thing this stupid palace has done all game.
The cube. I think you're in for a disappointment. There's nothing in there. It's just a pretty cube.
What?
The fact that your grandfather did unspeakable things doesn't prove he was right. That Foster can come back.
I spoke too soon. Even though they are N's memories, the palace is still a dick.
Foster. So that's how it is. Just like last time. Only one of us is getting out alive. That's all I asked for, I suppose. A chance to correct my mistake. I just didn't imagine it would be this damn difficult. Well, you said it, Gramps. Great challenges and equally great rewards. Take care, Foster. Of London as well.
En gets a self-sacrifice win since she will need to be translated in order to bring Foster back. It really is such a bittersweet ending. Considering that's the chamber you originally stuck the cube in, it makes you wonder, did that actually happen to En, or was it all part of the translation process? It sucks, but we will never know what specifically happened, but the vagueness makes it better in my opinion. I like the end credits flying over the planet's surface. I honestly think the worst part about Echo is it's a pretty unknown game. I think it might be the reason for Ultra Ultra's closure, as this is the only game they ever made. Other than a few performance issues, the game is unique as hell and super fun to play, especially as a low-key horror game since, copies of you trying to kill yourself is hella creepy. The story is pretty short and simple, with you going through the palace to resurrect Foster, but it's a bummer that the lore was built up in the game and we won't ever have any more context added to it. Not that I have any problem with building out lore for something, on the contrary, I love it, but since there's no codex available, or even a wiki of sorts, because, again, it's pretty unknown, it's incredibly hard to find any info on the world of Echo. I do think it's neat that they took the alien approach to space travel, rather than using hyperspace, and went into stasis, and even the gameplay reflected that with you not having full access to your abilities right away. The music is very ethereal sounding and fits perfectly with the game. Other than the alerted track not looping properly on occasion, the music definitely immerses you into the gameplay more. Playing Echo does feel a bit clunky at times, but I think that was by design, as you are wearing a presumably heavy spacesuit, and being able to do flips and shit would probably make it too easy. I do love how it's very much a stealth game and a puzzle game of sorts. I actually found out recently that the cycles go off on how many actions you perform, so that's a very brilliant and subtle design, as you could fill the queue with useless actions, then fuck shit up as soon as it goes dark. The graphics have that AA magic I can't quite describe. Basically, the graphics look really good and polished, but it isn't realistic and has more of an art style quality to it. Like with this, it seems more of like a porcelain, I guess that might just be the way that En's helmet looks and some of the Echo's looks. But to me, if I were to use a word to describe the art style, it would be porcelain. That kind of sounds like the best way to do it. At any rate, it's a very beautiful game. In closing, I adore indie and AA games like this because there's experimentation. For some reason, the more budget you have, the more you keep your property cookie cutter. There's no AAA game I played recently, or ever come to think of it, that has a premise this interesting or well thought out. I feel like this was executed very well, and I wish I could say I'm looking forward to the next entry by Ultra Ultra, but like I said, sadly, they have been disbanded. You should definitely check this game out, as it's very, very fun to play through. Thank you for watching, and try not to die out there.
Something's not right. I'm picking up a whole load of anomalies.
That man's an imposter. That man is the imposter. There can't be two Spider-Men.